Sarve Chaturbahava Unmishanmani.
Sarve Chaturbhava Unmishanmani.
Praveka Nishkavarana Savarchashaha.
Praveka Nishkavarana Savarchashaha. We are having problems with this video.
Well, it came on.
Shyamarata Satapatralokana. Sangavastra Surucha Supesasa.
Sarve Chaturbhava Unmishanmani.
Sarve Chaturbhava Unmishanmani.
Praveka Nishkavarana Savarchasha.
Praveka Nishkavarana Savarchasha. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Oh, well, let Ramana Chief.
I just won because everyone was like, whatever.
Yeah, well, I don't know what's going on.
You
Can someone else
chant?
chant?
Shamavadata Shatapatra Lochana.
Shamavadata Shatapatra.
Vishangavastra Surucha Supeshasa.
Vishangavastra Surucha Supeshasa.
Sarve Chaturbhava Unmishanmani.
Sarve Chaturbhava Unmishanmani.
Praveka Nishkavarana Suvarchasa.
Praveka Nishkavarana Savarchasha.
Shamavadata Satapatra Lochana.
Shamavadata Satapatralochana.
Vishangavastra Suracha Supeshaha.
Visangavastra Surucha Supesasa.
Sarve Chaturbhava Unmishamani.
Sarve Chaturbhava Unmishanmani.
Praveka Nishkavarana Sarvachasaha.
Praveka Nishkavarana Savarchasha. Shamavadata Satapatralochana.
Shamavadata Satapatralochana.
Visangavastra Surucha Supesasa.
Vishangavastra Surucha Supesasa.
Sarve Chaturbhava Unmishanmani. Praveka Nishkavarana Savarchasha. Shamavadata Satapatralochana. Visangavastra Surucha Supesasa. Sarve Chaturbhava Unmishanmani. Praveka Nishkavarana Savarchasha. Good job.
Translation by Stephen Rachel Prabhupada. The inhabitants of Vaikuntha planets, please repeat,
The inhabitants of Vaikuntha planets
are described as having glowing sky bluish complexion.
glowing sky bluish complexion.
Their eyes resemble lotus flowers.
Eyes resemble the lotus flower.
Their dress is of yellow color.
The dress is of yellow color.
Their bodily features very attractive.
Their bodily features are very attractive.
They are just the age of growing youths.
The age of growing youth.
They all have 4 hands.
They all have 4 hands.
They are all nicely decorated with pearl necklaces,
They are all nicely decorated with pearl necklaces.
ornamental medallions,
Ornamental medallions.
and they all appear to be effulgent.
They all appear to be effulgent.
I was reading the next verse, these 2 lines. Pravala Vaidurya Mrinala Vajjashaha Parishpurat Kundala Mauli Malinaha. Translation. Some of them are effulgent like coral and diamonds.
Some of them are
Like coral and diamonds.
Complexion.
Complexion.
And have garlands on above their heads,
and their garlands on their heads,
blooming like lotus flowers,
blooming like lotus flowers,
and some wear earrings.
and some have earrings.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The inhabitants of Vaikuntha Loka are all personalities with spiritual bodily features not to be found in the material world. We can find the descriptions in the revealed scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam. Impersonal descriptions of transcendence in the scriptures indicate that the bodily features in Vaikuntha Loka are never to be seen in any part of the universe. As there are different bodily features in different places of particular planet, or as there are different bodily features between bodies in different planets. Similarly, the bodily features of inhabitants of Vaikuntha Loka are completely different from those in the material universe. For example, the four hands are distinct from the two hands in this world. Translate purport of the next verse. There are some inhabitants who have attained the liberation of Sarupya, or possess bodily features like those of the personality of Godhead. Vaidurya diamond is especially meant for personality of Godhead. The one who achieves the liberation of bodily equality with the Lord is especially favored with such diamonds on his body. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamakyam Dadati Swapadantikam Mukam Karoti Vacharam Pangum Lankayate Girim Kripatamaham Mande Shri Guru Dinakarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram Nama Avishnapadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshtarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Svachakalpadarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya evacha Paridana Bhavaneਭ్యో Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shyama Vadata Shatapatra Lochanaha Pishangavastraha Suruchasute Shasha Sarve Chaturbahava Unmishammani Praveka Nishka Varana Suvarchasha. So here we are seeing from the 9th chapter, verse 11. So we continue to see how Lord Brahma, his vision was. So this is all in response to one of the questions by Parikshit Maharaj in the previous chapter, verse number 12. So there he is asking Lord Brahma, how did he come from the lotus flower? And how by the mercy of the Lord he got the power to create the whole world. That was the question. Ajasrajati bhutani bhutatma yatanugraha tadrishe yena tadrupam nabi padma samudbhavaha. So nabi padma samudbhavaha. Padma is a lotus flower. It is coming from the nabi. Padmanava, the Lord's name, other name is Padmanava, because his navel resembles the lotus flower. His whole bodily hue is of that blue lotus, and he is so soft like butter. So the lotus, when it comes from the navel, and Lord Brahma is Udbhava, so the world opens a lotus flower, and Lord Brahma wakes up. So we saw in the previous few shlokas how Lord Brahma, he wakes up every day, and then he does the partial creation. So every time when Lord Brahma goes to sleep, then not all the planetary systems are destroyed, but the lower planetary systems, Ur, Bhuva, Swar, they are destroyed. And all the 4 other higher planetary systems, they are not destroyed. And similarly, all the lower planetary systems below the Bhuloka, all the hellish planets, they are also destroyed completely. So every time Lord Brahma goes for his nidra, sleep, then all this partial destruction happens. And then when he wakes up, then he remembers. When he wakes up, he remembers that what he needs to do, he needs to create. But in the first time when the Lord Brahma is born, that's when all these things happens. The lotus comes from his navel, from Lord Vishnu's navel, and Lord Brahma is suddenly appears. And when the world of the lotus opens, then he is completely dark. He doesn't see anything because his creation has not fully happened, or it has not even started, to be specific. So he's completely confused. Then that's when he starts going down the lotus stem, going up the lotus stem many times. And then finally, after so much of an exertion, when he comes, the last time when he comes under just the stem of the lotus flower, and almost to the point of seeing the ocean, Garbhodaka ocean, that's when he hears this word, tapaha, and then he starts doing tapasya for 1,000 celestial years. Then we saw the whole description of 1,000 celestial years. How long is that in terms of our years? So these are all those descriptions. But here, so this happens only during the first time when Lord Brahma is actually created. So Lord Brahma, as we saw in the previous other slokas, that he is the best of all the jivas. So he ascends to the post of Brahma. And there are criteria for that also. So they have to go through the other lower planetary systems and then continue to be on the ascending path. They can never do any mistakes. That's when they come to the post of Brahma. So it's a really, really tough to come to the post of Brahma. And anybody to come to the post of Brahma, so the next life when he's born as Brahma, so he is completely in darkness. He has to be initiated by the lotus mouth of Lord, Supreme Lord Narayana. So unless the initiation happens, then nobody is able to do anything. So initiation is a process which transforms a bell metal into gold. So there is a process in the alchemy, Srila Prabhupada mentioned that in the purports, that by which a bell metal is like a copper, so it can be turned into gold by a specific process. Somehow that knowledge is lost now, otherwise everybody will be making gold. Right? So like that, same way that is compared to this process of initiation. Process of initiation is one in which one is given a second birth. Second birth is called as Dvija. The second birth is given by the spiritual master. First birth is given by the parents. The second birth is given by the spiritual master. And that is the most important thing. And first birth is, everybody gets a first birth. Even the animals, they get it. All species of life has father and mother. But the second birth is only achieved by few fortunate souls. So, Brahmanda Brahmite Kone Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Haye Bhakti Lata Bija. So only those fortunate souls who by their own desire they want to achieve Krishna, and Krishna is responding to them, reciprocating with them, and he sends a spiritual master. And such fortunate souls, they get to this process of being able to hear this ultimate truth. And Lord Brahma is so fortunate, he is hearing that from the lotus mouth of the Lord himself. So he is the first person to be created. So Lord Brahma, he is doing tapasya. So when he does tapasya, the Lord reveals himself. Lord comes in front of him. And not just that, he completely shows his spiritual abode. It is very, very rare. So first thing is, of course, Lord, Supreme Lord, he gives the instruction to Lord Brahma on the Vedas, and he gives him the power to create. But before that, our Supreme Lord is very merciful. He shows the spiritual abode to Lord Brahma. So that's the beauty of it. And very interestingly, this is also there in the Brahma Samhita. So I'm not sure if you read the entire Brahma Samhita. The part of the Brahma Samhita that we chant, starting from Chintamani, Prakarasantmashu, so that's the 29th verse of the 5th chapter. But before the 29 verses, there are 28 verses which describes this beautiful Goloka planet. What is this Goloka planet? What is this situation? And how are these other planets situated around it? So very beautiful description. So how this Brahma Samhita was found? That's also very nice, very wonderful pastime of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this Brahma Samhita was almost lost, Kali Yuga especially. And so when Lord when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was touring in South India, so he came to this one of the places in the state of Kerala. So that in that place he saw that the Brahmanas were reciting this Brahma Samhita. And when he heard this, he immediately was very attracted to it. Then he went and then he requested to them and then he made a copy of it. So before this, the Brahma Samhita was not extant. Nobody had the copy. It was only available in that place in Tiruvarur, a place called in Kerala. And so when he made a copy, because it was so profound, this Brahma Samhita, you find so many wonderful verses which describes the universal creation, the entire universal status quo. Who is who of this universe? Who is Ganesha? Who is Surya? So who is Brahma? Who is Shiva? So all these things, it gives this position as it is. So without this, it's very difficult for us to understand what is the position of each one of these demigods, the very important demigods especially. So it is not meant. Bhagavatam does describe to some extent, and Bhagavad Gita just gives a very overview of different things of the, like in the 11th chapter, Lord Krishna says, I am so and so, I am so and so, I am Indra amongst all the demigods. So he gives the position of Indra, and he gives position of sun and moon, that they are like my eyes, but doesn't really give exactly what is their relationship with Krishna. So that is not mentioned in any of the Shastra. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to bring it out to the entire world. So the status quo of the demigods, who they are, what is their constitutional position in the whole creation, what is the purpose, what is their relationship with Krishna. That's the most important thing. People know about different demigods, but what is the relationship with Krishna? It's like we have Lord Ganesh. People know Lord Ganesh, he needs to be worshipped as the first demigod so that there is no impediment in whatever they plan to do. But they don't know how does Lord Ganesh gets the power. Yatpada Pallava Yugam Vinidaya Kumbha Dvande Pranama Same Saganadiraja. So it describes that how Vignan Hantu Alamasi Jagat Prayasya Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajam. He gets the power because he is praying to Lord Krishna by keeping him in his mind, and that's why he is getting all the powers to execute his prowess in order to eliminate different kind of obstacles in the path of anybody who worships him. That is Lord Ganesha. Like that, everybody is very beautifully described about Lord Shiva, Mother Durga, and Brahma, of course Brahma also, and even Surya. So there is a very beautiful verses from Brahma Samhita, which also describes exactly the same things that we are reading now. How Lord Brahma was created. So initially, going by the first verse of Brahma Samhita, it starts from Sahasra Patra Kamalam Golokyam Mahatpadam Tat Karnikaram Tad Dama Tat Anantam Shasambhavam. So it starts from Lord Brahma is actually describing the whole thing because he gets his knowledge from Lord Shiva, the Supreme Lord. Whole Brahma Samhita is a description of Lord Brahma describing about different things. Lord Brahma is saying that this Goloka planet is actually the center of this entire spiritual world. This entire spiritual world is to be taken as a lotus flower. The wall of the lotus flower is Golokadam. Golokana-dami nijitami talecha tasya devi mahesha haridamashu teshu teshu tete pradhavanachaya bhutascha yena govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. So this Golokadam is the center of this entire spiritual world, and the center world is called as Goloka. And around the Goloka planet there are many other Vaikuntha lokas. They are all like compared to the walls, the petals. The petals of the other Vaikuntha lokas. Whereas the walls, which is immediately covering it's called as, in Sanskrit it is said that it is Karnika. I don't know exactly the botanical name, Around the world there are some immediate petals and there are outside petals. The interior petals are called something else and the outside petals are called the real petals. And these inside petals are compared to the other planetary systems, the Vaikuntha lokas, which are very intimate to Lord Krishna. And the real Vaikuntha is actually outside, all other different petals. But inside petals, where the other gopis reside. In the next verses, they continue to say that other gopis, they all have their residence in the immediate petals. So, we are seeing here this verse about those who are residents of Vaikuntha planets. They all have 4 hands and they all are very beautiful. But they are actually the residents of Vaikuntha lokas. They all have 4 hands. They have Sarupya Mukti. There are different kinds of Mukti, 5 types of Mukti. Sarupya, Salokya, Samipya, Sandhi, and then Samvit. There are 5 different kinds of Mukti, out of which Sarupya is one type of liberation in which one gets an exactly replica form of the Supreme Lord. So they have 4 different hands and they have a blue hue just like the Supreme Lord, and they have the Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, same paraphernalia carried by the Supreme Lord. All exactly. But they don't have one thing. They don't have the... Can somebody guess what they do not have? Yeah. Somebody... Thank you, Hare Krishna. They don't have the Srivatsa mark, and they don't have the... One more thing. So what is Srivatsa? Srivatsa is an emblem in which Lord Mother Laxmi resides. And there is another gem, Kaustuba gem, so which is only had by the Supreme Lord, and it's not had by others. So other inhabitants of Vaikuntha, they don't have these things, but they have otherwise very similar forms as the Supreme Lord. And whereas in the Goloka planet, they don't need that, because Goloka planet is a planet where it's the Lord is as is. Supreme Lord, in his form as Lord Krishna, he is exhibiting his pastimes as Lord Krishna, a cowherd boy. So it's all simplicity is there, and all beauty is there, and all sweetness is there, the Goloka planet. Whereas the Vaikuntha planet, so everybody is in full awe and reverence of the Supreme Lord. And they all see him as a 4-handed Vishnu form, and they all revere him, they all worship him. That does not happen in Goloka planet. In Goloka planet, Krishna is a cowherd boy. He is no more than that. He is treated like a cowherd boy, and all his other inhabitants of Goloka planets, they all have the relationship with Krishna. As Gopas or Gopis or the mothers or the fathers or the different other Gopis in catering to Krishna's different pastimes at different times. And we saw in the previous verses that how Prabhupada mentions a very beautiful statement, previous purport also mentions, that this time is inconspicuous by its absence in any of these planets, Vaikuntha planets. What does it mean? It means that the time is definitely there. There is daytime, there is nighttime, and there is a changing of day to night, and there is a midday sun. It's all there. But nobody grows old. Everybody remains youthful. Everybody remains as they are. They never grow old. So that is the beauty of this Goloka planet and all other planets. Whereas the Vaikuntha planet, it is very, very, it's very obvious, because everybody knows who is the Supreme Lord and they know their position. But whereas the Goloka planet, the Lord's internal potency, it has completely taken over. So that she controls the entire happenings of this Goloka planet. So she goes by the name, what is her name? Her name is Purnamasi. So Purnamasi is the one who completely plans for Krishna's pastimes. What will happen here, what will happen at this time, and all these things she plans. And then accordingly, everybody is actually acting by an influence. Just like in current situation, we are all under the modes of material nature. So we are controlled by these 3 modes of material nature, So sometimes in the mode of goodness, and sometimes in the mode of passion, sometimes in ignorance, or a different combination of these modes. Similarly, in the spiritual world, so we are all immersed by this in the internal potency of Krishna, Purnamasi, who is controlling, who is giving us the different moods and which is helping us to serve Krishna better. So Krishna is the enjoyer. Everybody is serving him in different ways. So that is the beauty of this Goloka planet. It is nothing compared to the Vaikuntha planets. Vaikuntha planet is full of awe and reverence. But everybody has a unique relationship with Krishna. So somebody is the relationship of servant, somebody is the relationship of friend. Those things are realized in different planetary systems. According to one's relationship with Krishna, so we all take up that particular position in the spiritual world. It could be in the Vaikuntha planets, or it could be in the Goloka planets. It's all completely up to our relationship with him. And we find the best rasa in that relationship. Nothing else satisfies us. So that relationship is unique, and that's what really satisfies us. So that is Vaikuntha planets, or somebody is happy in Vaikuntha planets. Just like one good example is in the Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. So we have Murari Gupta. So Murari Gupta was a great devotee of Lord Rama. So he would always chant Lord Rama's names. And he would always worship Lord Rama's murti. So if you go to Mayapur, so just before you go to the real Mayapur, so we have this Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. And if you go inside, you will find Murari Gupta's house. And you find the murti of Lord Rama, Lakshmana, and Mother Sita. So they're still being worshipped, the deities of Murari Gupta. So Murari Gupta is an incarnation of Hanuman. And his rasa is the mood of servitorship. And he serves Lord Rama as the Hanuman. But when he comes as Murari Gupta, he is fully immersed in Lord Rama's worship. So when Lord Chaitanya comes to Murari Gupta, and then he asks him, why don't you chant Krishna's name? So the Murari Gupta says that, oh my dear Lord, please forgive me. Somehow my mind is so attached to Lord Rama, and I am unable to devote my mind to anybody else. So, because that is the relationship of Hanuman. So his mind is always to Lord Rama. So even Hanuman comes in Mahabharata once. So he comes to see Lord Krishna. And he takes a form of a Brahmana and he comes to see Lord Krishna. And then and that time also Lord Krishna recognizes him. And then he asks him, so do you like this form? You want to worship me in this form? He says, no, my mind is still attracted to Lord Rama. So although you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you are the cause of all causes and you are the source of all incarnations. But my mind does not even go an inch away from my Lord, my Master, Lord Rama. So that is the relationship. Just like that, everybody has a unique relationship where they find the best attachment to Krishna, best attachment to best service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is the best for everyone. So that's why Vaikuntha planets, there are different living entities who are just like the Supreme Lord. And we see how beautiful they are. Different descriptions are there. Shyamavadataha, so they have the Shyama color, the blue hue, just like the Supreme Lord. And they are Shatapatra Lochanaha, their eyes are like lotus flowers. And they have the Pishanga Vastra, they have yellow color dhoti just like the Supreme Lord. And Surucha Supeshashaha, and they are extremely beautiful. So they are ever youthful. Sarve Chaturbaha Unmesham Mani Praveka Nishka Varanaha Suvachashaha. Suvachashaha means they are ever youthful. So they never get old, the body never withers away. The body is always spiritual body. Spiritual body does not undergo any deterioration. The material body undergoes creation, sustenance, growth, and then finally it gets dwindles, it dwindles and then it destroys. That's a part of any part of this material creation. It undergoes the 6 changes, Shadvika. But it does not happen with spiritual body. In the Vaikuntha planets, the inhabitants, their body is so wonderful and so that it cannot be compared to anything in the material world. So that is why in the pastime of Ajamila also. So when the Yamadutas the first time they saw this inhabit the Vaikuntha Vaishyadutas, they are completely dumbstruck because they have never seen anything like this. So the Yamaloka, it's not very far from. The Yamaloka is actually in the nether worlds. It's in the very close to the Patala Loka. It's below the Patala Loka, where these hellish planets are there. And near to the Patala Loka is also Pitraloka. So Naraka Loka is there. Above that is Patala Loka. And close to this Naraka Loka, the hellish planets, is this Pitraloka. The Pitraloka is where the great forefathers they are there, but they don't undergo any suffering. It's not like any hellish planets. It's a place where they are like great sages. But whereas in the hellish planets, so they are they bring all the souls who are against Supreme Lord, who have not done devotional service in their lifetime, and they're all brought here, and they are treated according to what they need to be treated, based upon the sinful activities that they have done. And then they are again sent back to this other parts, like the Bhuloka, where they take birth in animal species. So the people who are sinful, so they are cast to this hellish planets as a temporary transitional place, where they have to undergo different kinds of treatments. Very lot of sufferings they have to undergo based on their different activities. And then they go back to this Bhuloka. Just like people go to the Swargaloka, because of their pious activities, they enjoy the Swargaloka. And then they come back to this Martyaloka, this Bhuloka, where they are born again. Similarly, people go to hellish planets also, they come back again. So, these Yamadutas, they have seen all demigods. So, they see all the demigods, and they go all over the world. They have the power to go anywhere they want to. So, they've seen the whole creation practically up to the Swargaloka. They may not have seen Brahma or anybody, but they have not seen anybody like this, Vishnudutas. When they came in front of them, they are completely dumbstruck. And then the verses that is chanting that particular incident is so beautiful. And from the Bhagavatam we see same very similar description. Sarve Padma Palakshaha. So there is everybody has a lotus flower like eyes. Pita Kausheya Vasashaha. So they have this pita color, which is yellow in color, garments. Then Kiritaha Kundalino. So they have this helmets, and they have this earrings. Kundalina means earrings. So Lasat Pushkara Malinaha, they have this lotus flower. And then Sarvecha Nutana Vayashaha. So they all are like youthful, budding youth. Sarve Charu Chaturbhuja. So they all have these 4 hands. Dhanur Nishangashi Gada. So they have this Dhanush, which means the bow, and they have the Gada, Shanka, Chakra, Ambuja, Shriyaha, Disho, Vithim Alokaha, Kurvantaha, Shvena Tejasa. So everybody is blinded by their tejas, the light coming from their body. So a very similar description that we have here in this particular context also. So we see how the Vishnudutas, they are so wonderful and so beautiful. So all these things, description, is all because Parikshit Maharaj has this question. He's asking this question so that we can hear about this beautiful spiritual planets, and we can develop a desire that we should go back to our original planets where we really belong to. And then we can revive our lost relationship with Krishna. So Parikshit Maharaj is asking on our behalf so that we can develop a desire. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita that he says that na suryo na chashanko na pavataha yadgatva na nivartante tadanavatva. So my abode, it doesn't require a sun, it doesn't require a moon to be illuminated. It's all self-illuminated. There's no need for any electricity there. So here electricity is so important for us. So without electricity we have no light and we have no warmth. Of course sun is there, but half of the year we don't have sun. So it's always in many of the places in the world. So either in the North Pole or the South Pole, it is full day or it is full night for 6 months. And people have no sun. So we need electricity. So Krishna says, no pavaka, there's no need for any electricity. There's no need for any sun, there's no need for any moon. It's all self-illuminated. So that's all illumination comes from Krishna's body. So very beautifully it is there in Brahma Samhita also describes that how in Krishna's body is the source of all the light. Yasya prabha prabhavato jagatanda koti. So prabha prabhavato. So it illuminates the entire world. It's all coming from Krishna's body. So Krishna is the source of this light for the whole creation. His body. So then you can imagine, Krishna is like so bright that nobody can see. It's not like that. It is very inconceivable. Krishna is so bright that he illuminates the entire world, but still he is seeable to the devotees. Krishna gives the vision for devotees to see him. But imagine, his light is emanating from him and it is going out to the entire world. And the example that is given here is that the diamonds. So here in the Srimad Bhagavatam also it is said that everything is actually getting the light from the sun planet. The sun planet illuminates the whole world, and that's where we get the electricity from. Where is this all electricity coming from? Ultimately it's from the sun. The only source of energy that we have in this whole world is the sun. So the sun because of the sun the plants were there, and sometimes the plants they deteriorated and they disintegrated, and they all became oil reserves, and from that we derive oil, and then we are able to burn the oil to get the light. Or the electricity is actually made from solar power. Or everything is coming from the sun. Sun is the only source of energy. And from where does the sun get the energy? Sun gets the energy from the Supreme Light. That's what it said. Sya prabha prabhavato jagatanta koti koteshva ashesha vashudadi vibhuti binnam tad brahma nishkalam anantam ashesha tejam. So the entire world is illuminated. The Brahma Jyoti is the source of all world. The Brahma Jyoti is locked in the material world by this causal ocean. The causal ocean is a barrier between the material and spiritual world. It's Ekapada Vibhuti and Tripada Vibhuti. This is one part of the creation, 1/4 of the creation. The 3/4 of the creation is there. And the 3/4 of creation, the Brahma Jyoti is illuminating all over. But inside this material world, the Brahma Jyoti does not enter. But this Brahma Jyoti is actually depositing its energy into the sun and the moon. And the sun and the moon is illuminating this Brahman. That's how we get our light. So only source of light is the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord's effulgence from his body. And all the Vishnuduttas are also effulgent, but they also are not self-effulgent, but they are effulgent because of potency given to them, the spiritual body. So in this way, the beautiful creation is described, or the spiritual world is all described here. And the previous verses, we see what the spiritual world is not. So we see the spiritual world here in these particular verses, how the inhabitants are there, how beautiful they are, and how much effulgent they are. In the previous verse we saw what the spiritual world is not. So first we need to understand that spiritual world has no threefold miseries. People do not undergo any kind of miseries there. And there are no three modes of material nature to influence them. That's what we saw in the previous verse. There is no ignorance. The material mode of ignorance, passion do not prevail. Nor is there any influence of goodness. So there is not even goodness. What is there is pure goodness. Shuddha Sattva. Vishuddha Sattva. Brahma Samhita or Brahma is describing how this spiritual world is Vishuddha Sattva. Pure goodness. And the goodness is also a part of the material nature. So the three modes of material is compared to the iron, the bronze and the gold. The ignorance is like the iron. It's again still binding. If somebody is bound by iron, the iron handcuffs, he is bound. Similarly, people in the mode of goodness, they are also bound. But they are bound with golden handcuffs. What is the point? So even they are bound. Everybody is bound in the material world. So you have to be unbound, and that only happens when you surrender to Krishna. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that He says to Arjuna that you should transcend the three modes of material nature. The three modes of material nature is binding you, and you should transcend it. So mode of goodness is the best amongst the three, but still it is a binding, and we need to transcend that. We need to consciously surrender to Krishna, surrender to the Supreme Lord, and then we have to consciously transcend these modes of ignorance and passion. And the first thing is to identify the modes. How are we getting influenced by these modes? What are the different symptoms of we being afflicted by these modes? We have to first know that. So unless we know who is the enemy, the battle cannot be won. The battle is half won if we know who is the enemy. Identify the enemy, and then you know what is his strengths and how to overcome it. So you have to first know this. But the battle is already won. So we can easily plan and overcome it. The problem is that in our situation, we are so much afflicted by these three modes of material nature that we don't even know that we are afflicted. Sometimes we are overcome by anger. Sometimes we become angry with somebody because for some reason it doesn't go along with our desire. So the cause of anger is actually when the sense gratification is stopped, then anger immediately comes. So that's why it is said that kamesha, krodesha, rajoguna samudbhava. So kama and krodha, they are very interlinked. Because when the kama is obstructed, the desire obstructed, then immediately anger comes. So anger is a cause and effect of the desire. As long as we have material desires, and I want to be this, I want to be that, or I want to enjoy this, somebody will always be there to come and obstruct our enjoyment. And let's say we are attached to a certain thing. I want to do this, I want to do that, so there will always be somebody who will come and obstruct our sense gratification. And immediately anger will be the result. And the anger leads to, so we know the whole sequence, how it happens in Bhagavad Gita. So first it starts with kama, desire, kama then leads to krodha, and krodha leads to the loss of memory, because we don't recollect what is our experience. So we have our experience from the previous life and this life. We have learned so many lessons in this life by our mistakes, but we don't remember that when we become angry. So anger can cloud our mind, our intelligence, and then we become controlled by our modes. The modes take over our nature, and then we become controlled with the modes. And then leads to the bewilderment of memory, loss of memory and bewilderment of intelligence. Intelligence usually is supposed to supersede the mind. It's supposed to control the mind. But what happens when we become angry? So the intelligence becomes bewildered. We don't listen to our intelligence anymore. So there's a cloud, it gets clouded. And when you don't have a proper discrimination power, intelligence gives you the discrimination power. When you lose that, then we do things which is not really good for us. So it leads to different actions, which leads to our fall down. So very beautiful two verses there. It starts with what is that verse? Somebody knows that verse? Starting out the verse. It starts with how we see. Jayato vishya pumsam sangasteshu vijayate sangat sangayate kama kamat krodat vijayate. Krodat bhavati sammoha smriti vibramaha smriti vamsha buddhinasho pranashyati. So finally it leads to pranashyati. So we fall down into this material world. We fall down from our position, our good position, we fall down. That's what happens. So one has to have good control over one's senses. And that's possible by doing devotional service to Krishna. Doing devotional service to Krishna, it gives us this strength to not be attached, not be attracted by this other different sensual objects. So it gives us strength for the intelligence to tell us that this is not good for us. Otherwise we are completely drawn by the sense objects. It's just like an animal is drawn to its different sense objects, be it an opposite sex, or be it a very attractive food or attractive music. So immediately our mind gets attached and goes with it. So, when you come to Krishna consciousness, the first thing we learn is we're not the body. So, if you're not the body, then what do you need to do? You should not act like a body. You should act like a spirit soul, which means you need to be aware, you need to be conscious of your real position. And you need to be conscious about your enemies. What is the enemy here? Enemy is your different sense objects, which is trying to attract you, which is trying to make you its slave, make you its victim. So you have to become intelligent to discriminate what is good, what is not good for us. And that comes by constant sadhana. When we do the sadhana, chant Krishna's name, then automatically we get that strength, spiritual strength, to be able to discriminate what is good and what is not good. Krishna gives intelligence for wisdom. Tesham satatayuktanam vitam priti purvakam tadami buddhiyogam tam yenama bhavapayantite. So Krishna gives the intelligence by which we can get that discriminatory power to be able to make the right choice. Again, Krishna does not make a choice for us. Krishna gives the intelligence. That's what he says. In the whole Bhagavad Gita, Krishna spoke the whole 18 chapters. And then he says to Arjuna, Ete ichasi tata kuru. Oh my dear Arjuna, I have spoken all these things to you. Now please do as you please. So he's putting the ball in Arjuna's court. That's what Krishna does to us. So he always plays in the baseline player in tennis. So there are baseline player. So they do not really make a very difficult moves. They don't hit to the corners, but they always keep hitting to the player. And so what happens is the other person takes risks. The opponent, he takes risks and he wants to play to the corners of the field, corners of the court. And he makes mistakes, he throws the ball out. So it's like forcing the other opponent to make mistakes. So Krishna is like that. So Krishna does not really, first he gives a responsibility to us to make decisions. He has given us intelligence so that we can make proper discrimination. It is the onus is on us to make that proper decision. And then he helps us. So once we take one step towards him, we take 16 steps towards us, he said. So we have to make that surrender to him. And the surrender comes from surrender to the spiritual master, and surrender to the process, the sadhana, and abiding by the rules and regulation of the process, avoiding things to be avoided, and doing things to be done. Then we get the strength, the sadhana, to be able to make the right decision, to be able to go towards Krishna, and ultimately we reach the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So we all need to work together, we help each other and move towards this direction. That's why the sadhu sangha is required. We all need to help each other. Everybody together we have the strength to do things. Alone we don't have the strength. So alone we become victims of our mind. So we become, why don't I do this? Why don't I watch something on YouTube? Why don't I do this? So our mind always gets immediately dragged to things. But when you are with devotees, then you cannot do that. Because there is a constant vigilance is there. That vigilance is important for us, for enough purpose. That's why we need to be together. So Prabhupada established this movement, this whole institution, so that people can come and they all can be together in moving in the right direction. So I'd like to stop here. Any comments, any questions? Devotees?
You said so many things, and thank you for this nice class. You talked about this Srivat sign. How does that sign look like? Something like swastika, almost? Or is it a different sign? Where do you look for that sign? How does it look like?
Yeah, it's the depiction that you usually see in the it is that Srivatsa is actually a tuft of hair in the Lord's body. So it's right in the chest. You can see. That's the description. Sorry.
It says in fourth canto with one white hair right here.
Yeah.
It's like a hand?
Hair.
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 Hair. Oh.
One white hair.
One white hair. Oh.
Yeah. That's where Mother Laxmi resides.
And we know that, like you said, the Swarup body, the Vishnu Dutas, they have that. And the gatekeepers too, right? I've seen them with the gadas or something.
Yeah.
And if Vishnu Dutas are coming to take a devotee or something, and if the devotee have not heard anything about the Srivatsa sign, they might think this is Vishnu, right?
Krishna gives a discrimination at that point also. So he definitely gives a discrimination who is who.
But they look alike, so.
Krishna is within. So when somebody is pure enough to go back to the spiritual world, he's already in Krishna's hands. So he gives the right intelligence to everything.
I think there is another mark that he has that resembles the gold testing stone. There's like 3 lines of gold, or golden looking. There's a stone that's used for testing gold, and it leaves marks. It's called silica or something like that. So in this description that Lord Shiva gives to the Prachetas, he mentions that Vishnu has the mark of that, and the Srivatsa is the hair. But anyone who's in the form of the Lord, he's not going to mislead somebody that you're God. Otherwise, there's that. You get that because you're not envious of God. You're not trying to be God.
Yeah. So everybody knows, because everybody got into this soup because of being Lord. They won't make the mistake again. Vishnu Dutas. They already gone through that. They already liberated souls. They know that. So if they make a mistake of being the Lord, playing the Lord, then they're going to be the same problem. Yes,
Hare Krishna, I just wanted to add that I heard in some class that we should not mistake that even though Vishnu Dutas, they all look the same to us, still there's individuality there. So if you're in the right consciousness of Vaikuntha, that you can distinguish between them. It's not like they all like from incubator. Like for us, they may look the same, but they obviously they're different. And like that, somebody looks in humans, they also think they're all the same, but we know there's big distinguishing.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, sometimes we think Oriental people all look the same.
Yeah, this is example, like gross example. Yeah, but the same as in Vishnu, also they all different. They all have different feelings and different relationship also to Lord.
Definitely, definitely. I'm sure they will also look different. There'll be some distinguishing features between them. I don't think they will all look alike.
I also think that they have very superior transcendental intelligence, as you were just describing. But I had 2 questions. That my understanding is that because based on the description, that he may know about the local form, that he's actually only seeing the residents of the Vaikuntha planets. He's not actually entering into the local realm. He's seeing the Vaikuntha realm. And the other point was, as a question, is that on each Vaikuntha planet, the way you know which Vaikuntha planet the Lord is the location for objects in his hands, like maybe the lotus flowers in the upper right, and then on another place, it's on the upper left. This description of each book. So I was wondering if the inhabitants on those planets have that same, since they're taking the same form as that Lord. Do you have any information about that? Isn't that true that each planet, like say, the planet of like Hokshaja, Padmanabha, Rishikesha, all these Vaikuntha forms, it's there on one of the old Bhagavatam covers. It gives the names. They used to. I think that first original one the Prabhu made. Yeah. And there was a description that I remember Mother Jadharani used to be able to like tell you which one was who.
Wow.
It's unlimited, but she knew several of them. Wow. It's there in one of Prabhu's writings because I remember hearing it someone reading it. I was just curious if they also they're following that example as well. But also, is it though the planet of Lord Ramachandra a little bit different than the other Vaikuntha planets, that it's still in the mood of Ayodhya?
Yes, all this, the chief incarnations of Lord, so they are very close to Goloka planets. All the Varaha, Nrishimha, Leela avatars, the Supreme Lords, they are close to the Goloka planets. They are old. Whereas the Vaikunthas, where these 400 forms of Vishnu reside, so that's outside, periphery. I've heard that in somewhere in Prabhupada, I've read that. So immediately following the world is this 4 incarnations, this Vasudeva, Sankrishna, Aniruddha, Pradyumna. And then comes other incarnations, other Leela avatars, like Nrishimha, Varaha, next circle. And as it goes further, it becomes more of Vaikuntha, 400 forms. So in those forms, Lord is as personal relationship, just like Lord Rama in that particular mood and that particular taking service from his devotees. But in the Goloka planet is where everything is very natural. Krishna is not assuming as a Lord and is taken to be a cowherd, one of the inhabitants. And that's what makes it more sweeter. Simplicity. Jai. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.